Picture this, a 95-year-old piece of paper written by dead British officials still decides whether 400 million Africans get clean water today. But that's just the beginning of this week's explosive story, because while Ethiopia celebrates completing Africa's biggest dam, rebels in Congo just did something so shocking even seasoned correspondents call it unthinkable. And here's what makes it even worse. America just slapped visa restrictions on 4 African countries using lies so obvious even a child would spot them. I'm your host, Songwed Luis, and this is the Strategic Lens, where we uncover the real power moves shaping our future. Today we are exposing how colonial contracts still strangle our continent, why Congo's latest bloodshed could trigger a regional war, and the energy revolution that has Egypt planning for conflict.
It's a very dangerous situation because Egypt is not going to be able to live that way, and they'll end up blowing up the dam. And I said it and I say it loud and clear, they'll blow up that dam.
But first, let me show you how that 1929 document is unaliving people right now. Here is what makes this week's Congo crisis absolutely unthinkable. In June 2025, America brokered a peace deal between Congo and Rwanda. Both parties signed. International observers celebrated. The media moved on. But M23 rebels never stopped fighting, not for a single day. While diplomats were patting themselves on the back for peace, M23 was busy creating what they call parallel administration throughout eastern Congo. They have appointed governors in Goma and Bukavu, set up tax collection systems, and are running their own shadow state. Our elders say when the spider web is complete, the fly discovers it's too late to escape. Congo is that fly, and M23's web is almost finished. But here is that unthinkable part. M23 isn't randomly capturing territory. They are systematically seizing every major mining area. Coltan, gold, diamonds, the minerals powering your smartphones. This isn't a civil war, it's a corporate takeover disguised as rebellion. Rwanda's economy runs on processing minerals from eastern Congo. Every mining area M23 captures flows directly into Kagame's supply chain. What, you think the rebels extract minerals, transport it across Congo and ship it through Kinshasa, Congo's capital? The US-brokered peace deal, it's worthless paper while the theft continues. 1 million people are displaced, and while everyone celebrates fake peace deals, M23 unfortunately expands every day. Much still needs to be done. This, my friend, is the colonial playbook we will expose later. Sign agreements that look good on paper while the real extraction continues behind closed doors. But Congo's crisis is just the beginning, because in Ethiopia, another kind of power struggle is reshaping the entire Nile region. While Congo unfortunately burns, Ethiopia is rising. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Africa's largest hydroelectric project, is 100% complete. In a few months, that is in September, President Abiy Ahmed will flip the switch on the project that doubles Ethiopia's electricity output overnight. But here is where it gets interesting. Egypt's President Al-Sisi has been eerily quiet about the dam's completion. You want to know why? Because behind closed doors, Egypt has been preparing for something they call defensive measures. And when you are Egypt, defensive measures around water usually involves F-16 fighter jets. Our ancestors taught us the river that refuses to bend will break the bridge. Right now, Egypt and Ethiopia, both of them, are refusing to bend. You remember that 1929 document I mentioned? Here is how it connects. Britain gave Egypt veto power over any upstream project on the Nile. Think about that audacity. A European colonial power deciding who gets water from an African river. Ethiopia wasn't even invited to sign that document, yet they are somehow supposed to follow it. But Abiy Ahmed is playing chess while Egypt is playing checkers. By inviting Egypt and Sudan in September to the dam's inauguration, he is forcing them to either attend and legitimize the project or boycott and look petty on the international stage. Brilliant move. Now here is what the numbers tell us. Ethiopia is becoming an industrial powerhouse. Chinese companies are relocating entire factories there. The energy demand is exploding. This dam isn't just about electricity, it's about positioning Ethiopia as East Africa's manufacturing hub. And this is exactly what terrifies certain global powers. An energy-sufficient Ethiopia means a more confident Ethiopia. A more confident Ethiopia means other African countries will start asking uncomfortable questions about their own colonial era agreements. Speaking of uncomfortable questions, wait until you hear how America just humiliated 4 African countries using blatant lies about reciprocity. Now here is where it gets personal for millions of Africans. The Trump administration just announced visa restrictions for Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana, and Ethiopia again, claiming it's about reciprocity. But when you look at the actual facts, the lies are so obvious and insulting. Nigeria issues year-long multi-entry visas to American citizens. Ghana just issued 28,500 multi-entry visas to US citizens this year alone. Yet, Trump claims these countries only offer 3-month single-entry visas to Americans. Now, these can be either one of two things. Either US diplomats can't read or they think we are stupid. You know what this reminds me of? There is an African proverb that says, when a thief shouts, "Thief!" it means he wants to confuse the crowd. Now, America is shouting reciprocity to hide the hidden agenda. But here is the deeper game. Look at the countries targeted. Nigeria, Africa's largest economy. Ethiopia, the continent's headquarters. Ghana, a democratic model. And Cameroon, strategically located. These aren't random choices. These are countries that have been asserting for more independence in recent years. Sounds familiar? It's the same playbook from 1929. When African countries start acting too independently, external powers create administrative barriers to keep them in line. Back then, it was water agreements. Today, it's visa restrictions. And don't even get me started on that 30% tariff on South Africa. Trump claims South Africa isn't reciprocal on trade, but 75% of US goods enter South Africa tariff-free. Meanwhile, South Africa's average tariff on US goods is 7.6%. The math doesn't lie. But apparently, American trade officials do. These tariffs don't just hurt business travelers. They separate families, block students from education, and send a clear message. It's economic colonialism with a visa stamp. But speaking of knowing your place, there is an African leader who has been in his place for so long. People are starting to ask if he will ever leave. Paul Biya has been Cameroon's president for 42 years. He's now 92 years old. If he wins the October election, he will be governing at 99 years old. Let that sink in. And here's what makes this story wild.
Aujourd'hui, malheureusement, le président de la République est atteint par l'âge. Il n'a plus le pouvoir physique avec ses contraintes, ses exigences. Il n'a plus la force pour exercer.
2 of his longtime ministers just announced they are running against him. After decades of loyalty, even his own cabinet members are saying enough is enough. When your own ministers can't pretend anymore, you know something is seriously wrong. Our elders usually say, the tree that refuses to bend with the wind will be uprooted by the storm. But here is the real question. Is this really about beer? Now let me bring all this together by exposing the 1929 document that's still controlling African water today. The Nile Waters Agreement of 1929. Britain signed it with Egypt, giving Egypt veto power over any upstream development. Ethiopia, where 85% of the Nile's water originates, wasn't even consulted. Neither were Uganda, Tanzania or Kenya. Now imagine someone else deciding whether you can dig a well behind your own backyard. That's what this 1929 document does to 8 African countries. It's not just paper, it's a colonial chain around the neck of 500 million people. Every time Ethiopia wants to build infrastructure on their own rivers, Egypt waves this 95-year-old document like it's the word of God. Every time Sudan needs water for irrigation, they have to seek permission from Cairo. It's insane. And this is how all today's story connects. Congo's minerals are being stolen through proxy wars. America is using administrative tricks to control African movement. Cameroon is trapped with a leader too old to lead, and the Nile is still controlled by British colonial law. But remember what our ancestors taught us: no matter how long the night is, dawn must come. That dawn is already breaking in Ethiopia. It's visible in the young Cameroonians demanding change. It's growing in every African who refuses to accept colonial leftovers as their inheritance. The 1929 document is still active today because we let it be. Congo is bleeding because we normalize proxy wars. America restricts our visas because we think we won't fight back. All leaders cling to power because we accept that too. But here is what they don't want you to know. Every single one of these problems have a solution. Ethiopia proved it with the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam. They took their water rights back, one turbine at a time. The question isn't whether these colonial chains can't be broken. The question is, are we ready to break them? If this analysis opens your eyes, smash that like button. If you want to understand how Rwanda's proxy war playbook works, check out our deep dive on the Congo crisis. The link is in the description. And if you think Africa deserves better than 95-year-old documents, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I want to thank our members who have been supporting this channel for so long. Every single one of our videos carry our members. If you haven't joined our membership, I don't know what you're waiting for. The links are in the description. Join the Africa Today membership. Thanks. See you in my next investigation. Bye.